Hello and thank you for joining me. I'm Heather Forgan of stampwithnellie.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator based in the UK. And this is today's project. So we have a black, white and gold gift box with a lid that fits a 100ml, a 3.3 fluid ounces shower gel from Molton Brown, or any other little gift that would fit into a box that measures 2 inches by 2 inches by 4.5 inches tall. And I have used the fantastic Modern Christmas Designer Series paper and the Sweet Jar Builder punch and some white card and some black card. So I'm going to show you how to make another one of these, and I'm going to bring it in my paper trimmer. If, like me, you are using a 4 card, then the width of it is 8.25 inches. I prefer to have a decent tab to adhere, and I would prefer to have that at 8.5. But if you want to save some card, then by all means go for 8.25 and then just cut the long side at 6.5. But I'm going to cut my long side at 8.5. And then the short side at 6.5. Like so. And take that cutting blade out of the way, and I'm going to score this at 2 inches. This is on the long side. 2 inches, 4 inches, and I forgot to say that this is thick basic white card, because a bottle, 100ml bottle, is fairly heavy, so I want it to be quite sturdy. So that was 2 inches, 4 inches, 6 inches and 8 inches, leaving me with that 1/2 inch tab. And then I want to score at 2 inches from the bottom, so like that. So I've got my 2 inch line at the bottom there. Okay, let's take that out of the way for now. I have already prepped the lid. So this is 4 inches plus 1/16 of an inch. Okay, so I'll bring my trimmer back in just to confirm exactly what I mean by that. So you've got your 4 inches there, and then you have that little notch next to it there. That is my 4 1/16. That 1/16 just allows the lid to fit over the box base like that. Okay, and it'll slide out with the weight of the bottle, but if I take the bottle out, it shouldn't fall off if I just shake it lightly. If you go a bit mad, it will fall off. But it is a good fit, not overly tight, not overly loose. Right, back to this. And then I scored that at 1 inch on all 4 sides, just to try and speed things up. Did that in advance. So I'm now going to burnish all of my score lines, and I'm folding along the score line and making sure that it lines up at the sides before I press down hard with my bond folder. Do that all the way along. And last one is this little tab. and one in the other direction. So again, just make sure that you're lining up before you give that a good press. And I'll just quickly do these. Okay, so I then have some pieces of designer series paper, and I just feel it's easier to add them whilst it's lying flat, and then that one will go on the lid. So these measure 1 3/4 inches wide by 4 1/4 inches tall, and I'm going with my nemesis of Stampin' Seal. Simply because, well, I did it on the other one because sometimes liquid glue, you can see it when you've got lots of foiling. This one's not so bad actually, I probably could have got away with it. But yeah, when you use either a tape runner or tearing tape, you don't have the same issues. Just make sure you're happy with it before you press it down, because once it's down, it's down. It is quicker, cleaner and easier, but I just prefer wet glue so I can move things around and I don't get things like that happening with my tape runner. I still get myself in a sticky mess, but it's a different sticky mess. Happy with that. Okay, let's just get this little one done as well. Pop that on there. Okay, right, a little bit of cutting now. Can put that away and bring out my scissors. Okay, so I'm going to cut along each of those score lines, right on the score line, like that, right up to that piece there. Okay, just quickly do these all. Like that. Now I know that I'm going to be taking that triangle off, so I'll take a little wedge out at the same time and just save myself one cut, and then take a little wedge out there and a little wedge off there, just taking out some of the bulk. And again, I want to take a wedge out of this side. I'm going to leave that one as it is, and I'm going to take a little wedge off. Either side of this one, particularly because it is thick. I want to take some of the bulk down. On these two that I've done the wedging, I'm not sure that's the right word, but never mind. I'm also going to take just a little slither off the end, and again it's just taking down the bulk when we go to fold this together. And we're going to put some glue on here. I've got a little bit there. I don't want to have a huge amount, but once I've got what I want, I'm just moving it around with the nozzle of the glue so that I make sure I've got it right to the end. So I'm not squeezing to get more out, because then I'd get in a right mess. Folding that over, meeting it up, the top there nicely, fold it over, give it another press that way as well. And we've got that bit, the join at the back there. So I'm going to fold the back piece forward, And I'm actually going to take a little bit off that as well, but not as much as the other one, just a slither. And again, it's just because I'm using the thick basic white. Right, so back panel folded forward, then some glue on the underneath of these two that we took the wedges out of to hold them in place, like so. And then plenty glue on this piece and bring that around, and that should be nice and square on the bottom, and you've got that nice rounded edge at the front. And I'm going to take my bone folder and just make sure that that's pressed down on the bottom. So nice and neat in the bottom, you've not got any overlapping pieces. Now we want to do the lid, and I will eventually get to the decoration, but again, chop up to that intersection there. This time I'm going to take a wedge out of all of these, either side, turning that square into my flower pots, and then I'm going to turn it around and do exactly the same. Like so. So cutting along that score line, right to the corner, wedge and wedge. Last one. Okay, let's get rid of all of that mess. And I'm going to put glue on all 4 of these. Just going to do it all at once. And again, once you've got on, you can move it about. Especially if you've got more in one place. I love this glue, I really, really do. It's a bit, sometimes a hit or a miss if you squeeze it just that bit too hard. Okay, so I'm going to fold one of them just now, line that up and press that down. So because I've got thin glue spread all around, I've not got any seeping out on the inside there, then I'm putting my box lid in, and then I'm going to tuck that one under. I'm going to tuck that one under, and then that one goes like that. Then I'm just going to press that in. So we've got a good fit around about there. I'll give that a moment for the glue to set, and then I'll show you what I did for my jar. So this is another design from the Modern Christmas. I have a piece of card that I've already punched the jar and lid out of, and I keep that in my stamp set. And I just moved these around and decided which ones I would want to have. So I decided on that one. Okay, so if I have it like that, then we can get the tip of the star in. Doesn't matter that we crossed that over there, and then you'll see that I've got a couple of little pencil marks that I've put on there, and I'm going to use that as my guide to where I snip. So I did that one with my paper trimmer, but I'm just going to do this with nice snips, and then I can try and save a bit of that one and just go along like that. So I've gone a little bit deeper than I needed to. I can put that out of the way just now, and then bring in my jar builder punch, and then line that up to where I want that star to be and where I'm happy with those trees, like that. Okay, then I have already punched one from a spare bit of white card, and I'm just going to punch the lid. That's us done with a punch. Now I am going to get my tearing tape and I'm going to butt those two together like that, and I'm going to tape them together with tearing tape. But for once I'm not actually going to tear, I'm just going to snip because I want it to be fairly neat. Okay, so I can add that along there like so, not taking the backing off, and then I can butt those two together right together like that. Make sure I'm happy with it and then give that press down. Okay, so they are going to stay together. And then I've got this one just to give it a bit more stability because we are talking designer series paper here. And I'm just pop that on and make sure it's not showing. Give that a press there. Then I'm going to pop that up with dimensionals on the front of my box. I want to make sure I've covered that bit there, but not too high, because on my original one, if you look like that, you can see those. It probably would have been better to use black ones, but I don't actually have any. So I can take that off. Take all my backings off. But to give me a little bit more time to position this, I'm just going to put a tiny little smear of glue on that. Okay, and bring that in. That lid should be set by now. So let's pop it on. Nice. Okay, now that's my join, so that's going to be at the back. I can now decide where I want to put this on the front. And again, because I've got that glue, I've got that, I can put it down, I can pick it straight back up again if I'm not entirely happy with where it is. Once I am, give that a good press. Now, the sentiment I put on here comes from this pack called Greetings for You Mix and Match Ephemera Pack. And you get 6 sheets in this. 2 of these ones. Then 2 of those. And 2 of those. So you've got Happy Christmas versus Merry Christmas. You've got those lovely big joy. More of the joy there. They're fabulous. And what makes them even better, I'm going to go Happy Christmas this time, is you pop them out like that. And then on the back, give it a little bend. You can take the backing off. And these are stickers. And you can just pop that where you want it to be. How sweet's that? I just thought it needed a little bit extra on the top, so have got the gorgeous striped ribbon here. Should have done the bow in advance, forgot about that. Quick little bow. And need to be a little bit big. Bring it back in, pull it again. That should do it nicely. And sometimes they work better on the other side, No, okay, I think I prefer it that way this time. So I'm just going to get my scissors, and then I'll put this on with glue dots. And I like to not just put one on the knot, I quite like to have one either side of it instead. We can pop that on there like so. Oh, that's going, never mind. And then just trim your ends like that. Then my final touch was to add a little bit extra bling with these iridescent foil gems, because they've got that little bit of gold in there that it sparkles. And if I can pick that up and pop them, should have got my take your pick tool, to there, and I'm going to go another one down here. Oh, let's move that to where the glue went. There we go. And there you have it. We've got two lovely gift boxes. Oh, that one just came off, so I didn't press it down properly. Two lovely gift boxes made with the Modern Christmas Designer Series paper and the Jar Builder punch and these fabulous stickers. Love them. There will be links to all of the products that I've used in the description. There will also be a link to my blog post that will have all of the measurements. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, please do give me a thumbs up. If you have time, leave me a comment. I love to read them. And if you're new to my channel, please click on that subscribe button. Click the bell and get a notification the next time I upload a tutorial. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.